Hari Om. Om Namo Narayana. Pranam Swamiji. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hearty welcome to all those present here today. We are in the fifth class of the Tattvabodha. In the third class, Swamiji explained the invocation sloka, and in the fourth, Swamiji had entered into the text proper. Sadhana chatushtaya sampannadhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam tattva viveka prakaram vakshyamaha. Shankara Bhagavad begins Tattvabodha this way. We will explain to those endowed with the fourfold qualifications, sadhana, chatushtaya, sampannaha. The mode of inquiry, tattva viveka prakaram, which is the means of liberation, moksha sadhana bhutam. Only when one is endowed with fourfold qualifications, liberation is possible with a method of right inquiry. In this connection, Swamiji explained in detail the Anubandha Chatushtayam. When we study a text, four factors should be understood from that text. Those four factors are called Anubandha Chatushtaya. First, for whom is the text meant for? Means the Adhikari. Here, Adhikari is one endowed with Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Second is Vishaya, the subject. The subject here is Tattvam, the ultimate reality, the subject connected to me. Third is the Prayojanam, or purpose, the benefit that I get from it. The Prayojanam is liberation or moksha. Fourth is the Sambandham. This is how the text is connected to the purpose. Here, it talks about how the text is connected to the sadhana, the practice, and the phalam. If you study and it does not satisfy your purpose, there is no need to study because there is no sambandha there. The purpose is fulfilled with your study of the text. Bodhya bodhaka sambandha, the relation between the revealed and the revealer. Swamiji then explained in detail about how Shadlingas, which is not directly connected to this particular text. However, the seeker should know how to read and understand the text related to our spiritual knowledge. These Shadlingas are the 6 clues for spiritual study. Upakrama Upasamhara, introduction and conclusion. The main idea of the text should be in the introduction and also in the conclusion, thus connecting both. Abhyasa or repetition. What is introduced is repeated from different perspectives throughout the book. Apurvata, the topic should be presented in a unique way. In Tattvabodha, it is in the question and answer style. Phalam, what is the benefit we gain from this? Arthavada, praising the topics. Many stories will be presented and this inspires us to study. Thus, sadhana will also be energized. Upapatti. Whatever teaching is given in this book is further established by Shruti and logic. This is useful for Mananam. We will now continue our study with Swamiji. Over to you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Smrute Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punha Punaha ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Now we chant the first invocation shloka of Tattvabodha. Vasudevendra yogindram natva jnanapradam gurum mumukshunam hidarthaya Tattvabodho bhidhiyate. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Narayana to everybody. We are in Tattvabodha's first sentence, which introduced the sadhana chatushtaya, the practice we supposed to do for our liberation. So these are the foundation of our sadhana, that is sadhana chatushtaya. So the previous class was summarized. Now we will take up the next sentence. So in this sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikarinam moksha sadhana bhutam tattva viveka prakaram vakshyamaha. Here Shankara Bhagavatpada is promising us that he is going to teach, going to expound the sadhanas for us. That is as tattva viveka prakaraha. Here actually we are practicing discrimination. So discrimination in the sense what is real and what is unreal. So this way the Vedantic sadhana it takes up ourselves to all the way to the moksha. Now the next sentence, like before, I will pronounce once. You can repeat it. Sadhana chatushtayam kim nitya nitya vastu vivekaha iha mutrartha phala bhoga viragaha shamadhi shatka sampattihi mumukshutvam cheti. These are the very famous fourfold sadhanas. So it named as sadhana chatushtayam kim. As I mentioned before, this all textbooks goes as question and answer. So to simplify the matter, Shankaracharya ji took this very light way of teaching it. So sadhana chatushtayam kim? So what is the sadhana chatushtaya? The student asks the guru, then guru explains. Now these are named as nityanitya vastu vivekaha, enumerating the 4 sadhanas. The first one is nityanitya vastu vivekaha, and the second one is iha amutrartha phala bhoga viragaha, and the third one shamadhi shatka sampattihi. The last one mumukshutvam chaiti. Now Acharya will explain one after another as the sequence we have here. He will continue to explain that. One thing I want to mention here, a technical point, because this Tattvabodha is a primary textbook of Vedanta, as we learned before. Therefore, it has various readings. No, there are various part Vedas. So we are following one PDF that has been sent to all, but you may find some variation in some other books. So don't mind that wherever it is needed, I will take up the different reading and mention about that. So we follow the PDF what has been sent to all of you in the group. So these 4 sadhanas named. Now we will learn one after another. The first one is most important. As I said, nityanitya vastu vivekaha. Now the next sentence reading is that we will continue with the next sentence. Nityanitya vastu vivekaha kaha. Nitya vastu egam brahma tad vediriktam sarvamanityam ayameva nityanitya vastu vivekaha. So nityanitya vastu vivekaha kaha. The first sadhana, nityanitya vastu viveka. What is this nityanitya vastu viveka? First we see the word meaning. Nitya anitya vastu viveka. There are 4 words, one compound. It is a nityanitya vastu vivekaha, compound sentence, compound word. So nitya means we know what is permanent, everlasting, which does not perish. That is nitya. And the anitya is opposite of that, temporary or impermanent. We can say momentary. This is anitya. So nitya and anitya. Then come Vastu. Vastu means a substance, or it can be any entity. Anything is called Vastu. In Sanskrit, sometimes this word Vastu is used for living beings as well as non-living beings. So any substance is called Vastu. Is something, like we say something is there. It's something, some object. It can be living being or non-living being. So this is Vastu. In sometimes it is translated as matter in general. Vastu means matter in general. But here, Nitya Anitya Vastu, it is related to permanent and impermanent. So we can say it is related to the object which is created and which is not within the creation. Something real and unreal. So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. This is also another famous word we use. So Vivekaha means separation, discrimination, and knowing what the thing is. Perceiving an object and knowing the originality of that. What is the origin of that? So Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha, the discriminative knowledge. Why it is said Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha? Because there are things what we perceive is not real. The perception changes afterwards. We see something, our cognition changes according to our mind, according to our intellect, according to our previous knowledge. Therefore, this discriminative knowledge is not there always. We are just taking our thoughts and connecting with the things, and whatever we see, we see that the object is real. So therefore, we should change the mentality. Our perception should change. So this is the Tattvabodha. We should try to know what the thing is, what the reality is. So we will explain it later. So this is the word meaning of Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. Kaha, there is a one word used, kaha. Kaha means what? In Sanskrit, we have different forms for masculine and feminine and neuter gender. Like this kaha is a question asked for masculine. Like kaha vidyanitya vastu vivekaha kaha. If it is feminine, then the form will change as ka. The long ka will come. And in neuter gender, it is kim. So accordingly, we can understand, because this word viveka is masculine in Sanskrit. Therefore, the kaha word is used. Okay, so Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha. So now we know we want to discriminate between permanent and impermanent. And what is transcendental or what is non-transcendental and what is eternal, this we want to know. So nitya vastu vivekaha kaha. So that then says the answer is nityam vastu ekam brahma. Nityam vastu ekam brahma. The Brahman alone is nitya. Nitya vastu, eternal, intranscendentary, everlasting, ever sustained. That is only Brahman. Now afterwards we will learn what is Brahman, Brahma. But nitya vastu ekam Brahma. So nitya we already know, vastu the word we already know, ekam means one, single. Now the word Brahma, what is the meaning of this Brahma? The word Brahma means all pervading, which is the greatest, the biggest. That is called Brahman. Actually, this word Brahman is not the name of supreme reality, but the word indicates the supreme reality. The word indicates the characteristics of supreme reality. So in Bhashya, it is defined like this. Brihattamatvad Brahma. You can note down this if you like to. Brihattamatvad Brahma. Brihattamatvad Brahma. Brihattama means the superlative, the highest. There is nothing bigger than that. The biggest one is called Brihattama. Like the space. The space is everywhere. But this Brahma is even bigger than space, all pervading. That is Brihattama. Therefore, the word Brahman is used. So this is the important to understand in Vedanta. Vedanta has not named Atma or the eternal reality, because there is no name for that. Only by character of that we can call it as Brahman, because that is all pervading. And another word we use for that is Atman, Atma. This is why, because it is indwelling in all the beings. It is reflecting in all the minds. This is what the consciousness is. Therefore, it is called Atma, the indweller of all beings, the innermost self, the innermost existence. When there is no mind, no body, no awareness of prana, nothing is there. What is left? That is Atma, which we experience in our deep sleep. Deep sleep, there is no body, mind, awareness. So therefore, Pratyaktamatvat Atma. This is what Shankaracharya says. The same Brahma is the innermost self of all the beings, so it is called Atma. Now, if you take these two words, Brahma and Atma, they are used as synonymous, but the meaning conveying different meaning of the same thing. Like all-pervading Brahma is Atma when it becomes the innermost self of beings. So then the reflection of Chaitanya comes, consciousness comes. So the consciousness is experienced there. Therefore, Atma is called Atma. So we will learn it later because in the textbook it is coming. So that Nitya Vastu Egam Brahma. Tad Vediriktam, the next word. Different from that, Tad Vediriktam. Vediriktam means different, separated from that is Sarvam. Whatever is there is Anityam. Impermanent, or we can say transitory, Anityam. Now, this word should be carefully understood that Tad Vediriktam it said. If you know the all-pervading Brahma, then that is the only existence. There is no need to separate. So now here, Tad Vediriktam. If you see, perceive, understand something different from Brahma, then that is Anitya. If you know Brahman as the core existence of the creation, then this creation become Brahman itself, Satchidananda itself. Then there is nothing different from that. The Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. You see the beauty of Vedanta here. What it says, for example, because in our tradition we use a famous example of clay and pot, because we should learn this, a very famous example. Clay and pot. Now pot is an effect, a modification of clay. If you understand the pot is the modification of clay, the reality in pot is clay, but the shape and the color of the pot is not real. Why? Other than clay, if you remove the clay, there is no pot. So pot is called as pot because we are not directly knowing the clay in that. So when you know the clay is the real part of pot, so there is no pot other than clay. So it cannot be separated. Okay. So now take the clay and Brahman. So Brahman is the ultimate cause of the creation. And the creation what we see, the modification what we see is names and forms. So all modifications are based on that Brahman, but it seems to be different from that. So therefore, we are suffering from this modification. If we could see the all-pervading Brahman is the ultimate cause of this, there won't be any suffering, because then we are not dying. Then nothing is perishable. Only the form changes. As we learn in science now, the ultimate material cause cannot be destroyed. So here in Vedanta, the ultimate material cause of the creation as well as the efficient cause of the creation means the creator also the same Brahman. Both are same. This is another interesting point of Vedanta that we will elaborately discuss later. But in this context, so Tattvabodha, if you know this is different from this, Atma is not this creation. This creation is different from me. Then that is sarvam anityam. Then it cannot be eternal. Then it is perishable. It will be transmitted. It will take all the manifestation, all the changes. So Tattvabodha sarvam anityam. Now one physics theory is established here. For a change, you need a substratum which is unchangeable. Only on unchangeable substratum, a changeable can stand. So there should be something unchangeable in us. There is something unchangeable in this creation, the world, what we see, the names and forms. So take that example, that same example again. It gives an insight. Compare it to pot, the shape of the pot. The clay is stable. It is not ultimately stable, but comparing to pot, the clay is stable. Why? Because if you destroy, if you break the pot, the clay will remain. So this way, the cause of everything is stable than the effect. So that is why I said, on some permanent substratum, impermanent modification can happen. Take another example of gold and ornaments. This is also famous. The gold is the substratum for the ornaments, the modification of ornaments. Actually, there is no ornaments other than gold. So it cannot be changed. The modification can be many in many different forms, but the gold would be the gold. There is no change in that. So this is how we understand sarvam anityam. All the modifications are changeable. perishable in this way. One important another point in Vedanta here, when we talk about cause and effect theory, Vedanta says nothing is really destroyed. There is no destruction at all. Because we cannot destroy the material, ultimate material cause. The destruction is again a change in that manifestation. It's the last part of manifestation. The changes happens, at last it dies, it perishes. Then takes another form, in another level, then another manifestation. So therefore, nothing is really born and nothing is really dying. It is only appearance and disappearance. Appearance in one form, disappearing in another form. So this, what is seems to be disappearing, that is called anitya. And what is not disappearing in that sense is called nitya. So we don't say all changeable are anitya, because there is change in nature, the prakriti, but that nature as sattva, rajas, tamas and gunas are there. With that, it has permanent manifestation. Now what I said is, what is manifested, what has the changes is perishable, but there is something that has permanent manifestation. It means always it is manifesting, but it is eternal. It is not destroyed. That is the ultimate material cause. In physics also it is like that. The ultimate material cause is ever manifesting, but it is not destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. So in our Vedanta, or according to Sankhya, Prakriti is ultimate material cause. In Vedanta, instead of Prakriti, we say Maya. So we will learn the definition of Maya later. So Maya and Prakriti, these are both are the same with some minute differences, technical differences. So this Maya is ultimate material cause, but this Maya is ever changing, ever manifesting. So with that manifestation, we call Maya and Prakriti as Nitya, because as the material cause. Now, this Maya is not different from the consciousness Brahman itself. So how it is not different, and how we understand the different characteristics of Brahman and Maya, this we will learn later. So Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma Tad Vediriktam Sarvam Anityam. Now this is the first sadhana. You see how deep it is. If you try to understand what is Nitya and what is Anitya, then you understand everything. There is nothing left. So Nitya, you find out from yourself what is Nitya in your body mind constitution. And what is anitya? What is changeable and what is not changeable? Take your own body and analyze. Do this discrimination. This is viveka. Now, when we discriminate this both, what is nitya and what is anitya, what is changing and what is not changing, we will find that this physical body, mind, and prana, intellect, ego, all these are changing. Because we had a different body in our childhood, yet another different body in teenage. Now we have another body. The physical shape changes, its energy changes, mind changes, everything changes. In spite of all these changes, we enjoy something unchanged. What is that? What is that? That is ourself. We identify ourselves. If somebody asks, you changed yourself has not changed. Now I cannot say I changed from myself. The self is not changing. But I can say my body, mind, constitution changed. This body, mind complex, every time it is, every moment it is changed. So taking this example, we can understand all nitya and anitya. Now, in this body, mind, constitution, what is unchangeable? That is ourself. The awareness what we have as me or personality, what I experience as me is not changing. Or we are not ready to admit there is any change. So this is a practice. This is first sadhana of sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold sadhana. If we rightly do this, definitely we will reach or we will touch our Atma, the Brahman inside. When you search for permanent, what is permanent in you, you will definitely reach to selfhood. Because other than self, everything is temporary. Everything is changed. So this is the technique used by our rishis who spent their life, all life dedicated to this tapas. Now, with this sadhana, we can do all our duties. This is not, we are going to a special place or some cave or some ashrama or somewhere and then sitting in a place and doing this. It's only possible in those places. No. If you got this technique, you know how to practice it. You can practice wherever you are. Because this is very, very clear. No, there is nothing hidden. no hidden theory. It is open to all. So try to understand that. Then ultimately we will reach the Atma. Now, when we practice this, so the difficulty comes with our ego consciousness, the personality awareness. How? Because when we think about ourselves, we think that I am in this body. I'm not separate from this body. My identity, my existence is within this body. So here comes the difficulty. Okay, I am not changing, that is accepted. But how can be me everywhere? I'm in this body only because my experience is in this body. I sleep, I dream, I walk, I eat, everything I am doing. So this ego consciousness or the personality identification is called in Sanskrit Jivatva Parichetaha. So limitation, limited consciousness. No, last session, I mentioned this point. The all sadhana of Vedanta is this is from this limited existence to the universal existence. From limited existence of ourself to the universal existence of self. From limited consciousness, limited I consciousness, ego consciousness, to the universal ego consciousness. There we don't use the word ego because the word ego itself is limited, disconnected to body. So then, whatever is limited, now this formula will come to our mind. Whatever is limited is changeable. Whatever is limited is not immortal. What is limited is mortal. Now, when we think about our death, that is the fear we have, the death fear. You want to get rid of this fear? Think yourself as universal existence, unlimited, like space, like the air, everywhere. So the universal existence has universal consciousness, all-pervading consciousness. So that all-pervading consciousness is not different from our own consciousness. This is what we call as Tattvamasi. You are that. Because there is no theory to separate the all-pervading consciousness from limited consciousness. We cannot separate this. Like the space is everywhere as the same. We call it outer space or the space inside our home, space outside our home. The space is one and the same. So This is the Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. The another special characteristics of Brahman. It is universal existence. Universal consciousness which is all pervading. So identify with that. Now, some may ask, if we are universal consciousness, our consciousness, our existence is universal, why we don't have that experience? What is the problem with us? The problem is, you know yourself, but you are not identifying with that. You have this experience in your day-to-day life, but it is not identified. The discrimination is not there. We are so busy with our body-mind activities. Unfortunately, we have no time to look inward. There is no gap for introspection. We are unable to introspect our own existence. Sometimes we take our mind and do analyze what is happening in our mind. If mind is disturbed, then we think about mind, the existence of mind, the activities of mind. But there is no chance to think really about ourselves. So we have to find some time. We have to stop this physical mental activity and relax in ourselves. And naturally, when we get deep sleep, analyze this deep sleep experience. You are there. You are all pervading there. You are in bliss. You are in complete existence. Only that awareness is lacking there, that's all. So that awareness, if we can bring in our life, then no pain can trouble you. No suffering can disturb you. So this is the ultimate benefit of this Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. So in this fourfold sadhana, if you take the first one, that include all other three, or you take the last one, mumukshutva, the desire for liberation, then other three also included there. They are interconnected. They are, we can say, the same thing with the different views. Some are sadhanas, practices, some are the experience. So if one has the desire for moksha, ultimate emancipation, then only he will find time, spare his time to do this sadhana, discrimination and analyzing things. If otherwise, no. So therefore, the last sadhana, mumukshutva, is important on this. So then comes the second sadhana, which is called vairagya, viraga, dispassion. So this is another famous word, Vairagya, in Indian culture. So along with all other, we take up this sadhana as Vairagya. So without dispassion, there is no sadhana. That is what we say. Now, we will learn what is this dispassion is, Vairagya is. Because sometimes when we hear this word, Vairagya, dispassion, we feel something, people are afraid of this word. Because how can I separate myself? How can I go beyond this? The passionate, the passion, the word used in a good sense. If you are not passionate, you cannot live in this world. So when we say dispassion, it means you are taking yourself out of the world. No. This Vairagya is not like or not dislike. Liking and disliking is not connected to this Vairagya. Vairagya is another level of discriminative knowledge. Another level of mind which very, it goes a little more deeper and understand the core existence beyond all these mental activities. So this is how the Vairagya comes. So there the word attachment is also used. Vairagya and attachment, the absence of desires. So all these are used. So this we will learn the next section. Here now over to you for questions. We have entered into the main textbook, so you can ask the related questions. Hari Om.
Shri K.D. Singh has a question, Swamiji.
Yes, please.
Please unmute and ask.
Unmute and ask.
Pranam Swami ji.
Pranam Narayan.
Ye Swami ji, you have told that Maya and Prakriti are not limited.
Synonymous.
They are synonyms.
Yeah.
And they come in the category of Nitya.
Yeah.
So this whole world, this whole Brahmand is made of three gunas of Maya.
Correct.
And a time will come, these all will perish.
Yes.
So how it is Nitya?
Okay.
I have heard Swamiji that this is Anadi, but not Anant. Iska Ant.
No.
Yes.
So if you remember my words, I used that.
Ji.
The ever manifesting, but it is not destroyed. In that sense, it is Nitya. You see, I said that material cause is never destroyed. The ultimate material cause is never destroyed. Only it changes its forms. The manifestation comes in one form and it goes to another form. What the Sankhya says, regarding these trigunas, this sattva, raja, tama gunas are the inherent parts of, or the main parts of Prakriti. So Prakriti is made of these three gunas. So three gunas have many manifestations, but these three gunas are never destroyed. They together manifest in many forms. The forms which are manifested are again subject of change, but the main, that triguna, which is we call as Prakriti, is not changing itself. It means it is not destroyed. Therefore, it is Nitya. If the Prakriti is also destroyed, then what would happen? There will be absence of material cause, because the original material cause has been destroyed. Now, from where the next manifestation comes? From how can we bring the next manifestation? The creation cannot come. Therefore, the manifestation is changing, that is true, but the material cause is not destroyed. Then only you can create again and again. Now, we say there is no beginning, anati, beginningless Prakriti. What does it mean? The Prakriti as it is beginningless, but from Prakriti, from the nature, from that Maya, the manifestations comes out. For example, we can take the same example. If a clay and a pot, the clay is there and pot is the manifestation. The pot comes out and it exists for some time. Then you break the pot, it goes back to the clay as its cause, because whatever is destroyed, the manifestation which is destroyed, the effect which is destroyed goes back to the cause of that. This is the theory. The going back to the cause is called the destruction. Then the clay remains. Okay, so clay is there. So in that way, the Prakriti brings out the creation, and creation exists. Then there are also many manifestations, many changes. After a long time, it goes back. The manifestation again goes back to the core cause of that. That is, we say as ultimate cause. So therefore, Prakriti is ever manifesting, but is not destroyed. Therefore, it is Nitya. It is in comparison again, because in Vedanta, the Brahman is everything. This Maya is also based in Brahman. The Maya is a creative power of Brahman, cognitive power of Brahman, the power of action, that is called Maya. Now, this is all technical terms, so we will learn this later, because I don't want to use too many technical terms. No, we are studying like a physics or chemistry or something like that. So therefore, we will learn later all these techniques. I will go very slow and in detailed discussion with fully connecting to the test. Okay, so that after learning this test book, you can also teach somebody. I told you last time. So I will try to prepare you for teaching others. Okay. So the next question.
The next question is by Shri Arun Babu.
Please unmute and ask.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.
Actually, my question is exactly same as the previous question. So I got a partial answer.
Okay.
But however, I still have little more clarity required because the statement made by Swamiji is that all changeables are not anitya. So that statement itself means when there is a change, means there is a anityam is happening. It is not in the same state. And you mentioned the reason as that Trigunas, Saptaraja Tamo Guna, but and also the material cause is always the cause because that is ever existing. But with that perspective, then every anitya is also nitya only because everything the material cause is always existing. That is one additional doubt I have. And another point I wanted to ask in the same question is when it is a complete pralaya happens, then everything is in a dormant state, including the prakriti or trigunas and everything. So
in dormant state.
Dormant state. So my still what is missing that answer is how the changeables become. How can we say even changeables are not necessarily anitya? So that part is still I have not completely.
Yeah. It is very simple. You see, as I said, all changeables are based on unchangeable. Okay. Now, this manifestation, what we see, has some things moving or changing, but its material cause, the base of that is not changing. As I gave this example. Now, just now I took this word, Tattvabodha sarvam anityam. That is what it said. Nityam vastu ekam brahma, Tattvabodha sarvam anityam. Okay. So there I said, if you separate the creation from Brahma and you separately understand that is pot is different from clay, or you are not aware about the clay, only pot, then that is you are only seeing the manifestation. In that case, that manifestation is certainly perishable. But seeing the clay, you are understanding, you are perceiving the pot with that, then we can understand that the pot is perishable. Related to that, compared to that, the mud is or clay is not perishable. Similarly, when we take up this point up to the ultimate cause, then the ultimate cause should remain with all these modifications happening within that. So some part is changing, something is changing and something is not changing. So that unchangeable part is there. So in our body also there are so many things changing and unchanging. Our cells are changing every time because new cells are made. But that the material of that, we can say the information of that change comes from DNA or whatever is there. So that is not changing. So there is something changing or something unchanged. And compared to self and the mind and body, this is also the same. Body mind is changing. It seems to be perishable. but there is something unchangeable, that is all self. And when we take any material cause, any physical material cause, gross material cause, there also you can see this. Something is changing and something is not changing. Therefore, the theory says the ultimate material cause cannot be destroyed. If it is destroyed, then there is no chance for next creation. So therefore, Maya or Prakriti, in this aspect, Maya and Prakriti is ultimate cause, which is manifesting, but still it is eternal. Eternal and manifesting, both are there. Okay, so we will separately discuss on this cause and effect theory, cause and effect relation, when we discuss about the creation here. So there in this textbook itself, we have the creation, the creation of Vedanta, how the Vedanta tells about the creation of the world, the changes. So there we will definitely discuss this cause and effect here. Okay.
Next question by Shri Deepak Kapoorji.
Please ask.
I'm not able to unmute.
It's already unmuted. We can hear you.
Okay. Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, Hari Om, Pranam.
Hari Om. Om Namo Narayan.
Narayana.
Yeah. 1 minute. I had put my questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me repeat it if you advise. Yeah. It's all about all the problems arising because I am identified with the body, and so all the problems of the body are my problems. As you have very clear, beautifully said, moksha will only be achieved when with jnanam I get the chitta shuddhi to be able to identify with Atma, which is immortal. As long as sanchit karmas remain until it is exhausted, life cycle of birth and death will continue.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, removal of avidya, ignorance, through chitta shuddhi, identified with only Atma, is the precursor towards discharge of prarabdha karmas and agami karmas, leading to moksha, or final liberation from life cycle of birth and death, which of course is subject to final exhaustion of sanchit karmas as per one's karmas. I hope my understanding is correct for final vetting by Pujya Swamiji. Final exhaustion of sanchit karmas due to previous lives karmas is not in one's hand as controlled by Karam Data, the absolute supreme almighty God.
Yes. So this question is more or less connected to the karma and effect of the karma, manifestation of the karma.
Yes.
That is, we call karma phala.
Oh, yeah.
This sanchita karma and agami karma, all these terms and its definitions are coming on this last part of this textbook. If you have the PDF, you can just refer to the last pages of PDF. You will find all these terms are there, and it is described there. So we will learn that there itself. But as you mentioned, the main experience, the first and foremost experience of Atma is I, the I-ness in us. But this I-ness is mistakenly identified with the mind and body. Therefore, we are suffering from that. That's all. So the I-ness is the same. The I is the same. The self is the same. In this stage, as well as when we get liberated, the self cannot change. So therefore, in this context, we understand that Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma. The self is the only eternal experience. Other than that is not eternal. So the terms, whatever we you used in that question, so we will learn that later, because this last part of that is Jivan Mukta. There the Agami karmas and what karma makes the life, and how karma is destroyed, how karma is produced, and how karma phala is produced. How can we change our previous karmas? How can we destroy them? How can we change our present karmas? All this will be detailedly discussed. Okay. Next question.
Next question, Sri Saiji.
Pranam Swamiji. Hari Om.
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah. So, Swamiji, this is a question as well as a dilemma, that when we are practicing self as Nitya, we are doing it within the Anitya body, Anitya Buddhi, and Anitya Chitta.
Correct.
Right? Now, the dilemma and the requirement is that I want to access the Nitya Chitta associated with the self. Okay.
Okay.
So, in that case, like if I'm using Pratyaksha and Anumana Pramana, I am unable to take forward. So, only way I can handle it is Agama Pramana. And I'm accepting that Agama Pramana is fine. But now the thing is, I want to access the Chitta associated with the Nitya self. Okay. Meaning memories, old memories. Right? So, is there any technique for getting the one step? So, that will as well help me in getting associated with that self as Nitya to be a more stronger thing.
Yes. You see, really speaking, there is no Nitya Chitta. There is no eternal mind. The mind is always changing, and mind is not created as an eternal thing. It is a manifestation of previous karma, but it is changeable. Now, what is your point of in your question is, through which mind, which part of the mind, or which modification of the mind we can understand what is self. So this can be answered. If you ask which characteristics of the mind is helpful for knowing the self, there we say, since this mind is a manifestation of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, So mind has all these three qualities, sattva, raja and tama. Because effect always carries the original characteristics of the cause. This is the cause and effect here. So whatever there in the cause, the basic characteristics will be continued, transmitted to the effect. Therefore, mind has all these three qualities. Out of these three qualities, sattva, which is helpful for knowledge. Sattva is helpful for a pure mind. Sattva is helpful for a discriminative mind. Sattva is always calm, relaxed. The peace we experience in samadhi or in that mind, restrained mind, where the mind has restrained its activities. In that stage, sattva alone manifests. Or we can say sattva has a special manifestation as knowledge. Therefore, in our shastras, they say, try to understand what is tattva and improve your sattva guna by practicing such sadhanas and like that. So in Shankara Bhashya, what you asked for, that is there in Shankara Bhashya, 18th chapter of Gita. You can note down 18th chapter of Gita, 55 sloka, where the Jnanadishtha is described. Jnanadishtha. So there, Shankaracharya ji gives a good definition, good description on this, how the mind get into self-knowledge, how mind can return the self-knowledge. So you that what we call as purification of mind, that is this sattva guna, improving sattva guna, giving more importance to sattva guna. So then mind generally get into the state of knowledge and calmness. So even though it is not eternal, you see, another interesting thing is, we are fortunate to have such a mind which is always changing. If you imagine, if your mind would have not changed, what would have happened to you? You cannot study, you cannot improve yourself. You will be unmatured. So what is changing in you is the mind. Therefore, let the mind be changeable, ever changeable. So then you can reach to your goal. Otherwise, you will be here in what stage you are already. You cannot, if you cannot change your mind, how can you improve your mind? Therefore, this is a blessing that mind is changeable. Now, a few years before, your mind was something else. You are working and you are doing something else. Now your mind changed, and we hope that mind can change up to the point of that realization. let it happen. Okay? It is said one famous sloka, because you can note down the sloka, I am saying that. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Bandhanam vishayasaktam. Bandhanam vishayasaktam. Mokshascha nirvishayo smritah. The mind is the means, the medium of bondage as well as liberation. The mind can lead you to bondage as well as mind will liberate you from all the sufferings. The mind is making everything. So when mind has objective knowledge, then it is bondage, because mind is taking you outward. When mind has objective knowledge, then it is bondage. Then mind have subjective knowledge. That is you are the subject. Then you are liberated. You are enlightened. So mind is very important medium for our sadhana. So take care of mind. Mind should not be disturbed. So mind will give you all the energy to do your sadhana and understand and keep you well. Okay, any other question?
Yeah. I just wanted to know the name of the book, textbook, from which you are reading. That would be very helpful to us. From where can I get that book?
Actually, I'm not using any special textbook. Whatever I am quoting is from my notes for this teaching. So what book I am using is published by Chinmaya Mission, that I already mentioned in the first session itself. So Chinmaya Mission book, or you can have Dayananda Ashram's, the Swami Dayananda Swamiji's book. The details of the book already it is there in the group. Somebody has put in the group. So you can contact, take that details and contact and get these books from Chinmaya Mission or Dayananda Ashram, or you can get other books. But what I have is from Chinmaya Mission.
Can we get from your ashrama? From Uttarakashi?
Chinmaya Mission, Mumbai.
Mumbai. Achha, not from your...
Yeah, you can order. I think you can get from Amazon or like that.
Swamiji, you spoke the shloka. Manayo Manushyanam
Mana eva Manushyanam
Karanam Baddha Mokshayo Bandhanam Visayasaktam Mokshast
Nirvishayam Smritam. Nirvishayam Smritam.
Nirvishayam Smritam.
Nirvishayam Smritam.
Nirvishayam Smritam. This is the shloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
No. This is not from Bhagavad Gita. It's actually from an Upanishad, Brahmabindhu Upanishad.
Okay. This shloka, such type of shloka is also in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, there are slokas, similar slokas, but this particular sloka is from Brahmabindu Upanishad. Brahmabindu Upanishad. There is a
Matlab
Upanishad called
this mind is the instrument which can be used in either way. That will be the for the Ashakti and for Anashakti also.
Yes,
For
both.
the liberation and for Ashakti also. But this is the instrument.
Yeah,
Mind is the
is
only
the
instrument. Yeah.
In Upanishad, Kathopanishad, it is said, Manaseva aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana. It is a Kathopanishad. Manasa eva aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana. The mind is the medium. Through mind, you can experience the Brahman, which is non-dual. Naneva manaseva aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana. The non-dual Brahman, the existence of non-dual Brahman, that can also be known by mind only. This mind as a medium, that we know that. Through that we can know. So it is said in many places with many aspects of the mind.
Swamiji, a person is Jnani. He has got the Jnana. Then this mind disappears or it remains?
No.
It is purified.
As long as he is in this body, in this physical body, mind stays. Without mind, how can we live?
Yeah.
There is nothing, miracle. It's a very practical thing. People think after getting enlightenment, the yogi should sit in one place like a statue. So he will be always doing meditation, closing his eyes and not eating anything, not drinking anything, not talking. So it's all it's a mystic experience. There is something different from this. Here, the person who has got the experience of Atma, the self, will be the same. He will be acting like anybody. There is no special thing is happening in it. For special things, you have to practice those. No, if you want to be a pilot, then you have to learn that. The Brahmajnana will not help you to become a pilot. So this is the different thing. So the subject is different. So like there is possible if you can eat you can live without eating, without drinking, but you have to practice certain sadhanas, certain medicines or something like that. People live like that, but this is nothing connected to this self enlightenment. So there is nothing like that. So everybody can get it. Okay. Yeah. I think.
Can you take one more question?
One more question. Yes, please.
Okay. Sri Saiji wants to ask something.
So, Pranam Swamiji. The question is, when we mention about Viragaha, so can we avoid this? Can we stop the Rajas and Tamas food to get into Viragaha? Or is there any other way of getting into Viragaha?
You see, there is no formula as such. So if you cut off Rajas and Tamas, then you get Viraga? No. Because Sattva Guna is of course helping for Viraga, but you cannot completely cut off Rajas and Tamas. Because these three gunas, they stay together and manifest together, and everything there is a mutual connection. Without that, it is not possible. Therefore, Sattva is helping for knowledge and for this Viraga, dispassion, but You need the rajas for sadhana. Otherwise, you will be sitting in one place. Like, no, not doing anything, just sitting in one place. With raja only you can do practice sadhana. You want to listen to a lecture, you need rajas. If I want to convey something with my words, so I need rajas. So I have to eat and drink well to talk 1.5 hours. So therefore, that is with the rajas, otherwise it is not possible. But we change, when we change our mind, these characteristics of rajas and tamas become not predominant. So sattva become predominant, then it is possible. The sadhana is possible. So that is all. If rajas is predominant, you will be more active, hyperactive. No, you cannot sit quiet. And if tamas is predominant, you will feel sleep. Always you would like to sleep and sit in one place, no, like in a depressive mood. You don't want to do anything like that. So if the sattva is in sattva, when sattva is predominant, then you like to read, like to think, like to contemplate. No, you will have many questions, curiosities like that, because it is connected to knowledge, and your mind will be mostly in a quiet mood. So these are the characteristics. Okay. So I think we can conclude today's session. Om Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Thank you, everybody. Harihi Om.